Bold, Dutch and coming from the Eredivisie, many foolish people online and on Twitter have claimed that Liverpool are about to get their own version of Erik ten Hag. According to recent reports and the man himself, Arne is now the man who will become Liverpool's new manager. After Jurgen Klopp announced his departure, Liverpool moved for Xavi Alonso, who elected to stay at Leverkusen. There was a strong signal that Ruben Amorim was the favourite and next in line, but they have now decided that Arne from Feyenoord is the best candidate to succeed Jurgen Klopp. I understand that some of you may be wondering, who the hell is this guy? Why is Liverpool after a nobody? But there's a reason why Liverpool's hierarchy is so interested in Arne Slot. I'm not going to lie and tell you that this is the perfect manager for Liverpool, but I will attempt to explain why Liverpool is so interested in him, what he has accomplished in his career and his tactical concept. And if you want to stick around until the end, you might actually be thrilled that he is to become our next manager. But before we begin, don't forget to like, comment down below who you would have liked to have as manager, and subscribe for more. Arne Slot started his managerial career at Cambuur, who are a second division side in the Dutch league. Even at this second tier side, Slot was able to defeat Ajax in the KNVB Cup, followed by beating a Ten Hag managed FC Utrecht team, and was only defeated in a penalty shootout by AZ Alkmaar. In the league, the second division side were 14th when he took over, and by the end of it they were 3rd. Slot ended up leaving to take up an assistant manager role at AZ Alkmaar, where his career would really rise. In the summer of 2019, after 2 years as an assistant manager to John van der Brom, he was promoted to the manager role. His first season at AZ Alkmaar was unbelievable. With only 9 games left in the season, his team playing scintillating football, they were level on points with Ajax before COVID cancelled the whole season. In that season, they had beaten Ajax twice, and mentally the momentum was with them to go all the way. His AZ Alkmaar team ranked 2nd for average possession, just behind Ajax. In the 2 years at the club, he averaged 2.11 points per game, the most by any manager in AZ Alkmaar history. Slot was also in charge of building up talents at the time like Owen Wijnaldum, Myron Boadu and Tiyun Koopmeiners. Slot was then sacked in December of his last season at the club, but not because of his performances or anything to do with how his AZ Alkmaar team were playing, but because he was in talks with one of their rivals, Feyenoord. It was a very unfortunate end to a successful time, but it was time for him to make the step up. To give some background to the situation in which Slot took over that Feyenoord team, the previous manager was then 73-year-old Dick Advocaat, and in one of his final interviews with the club, he admitted that the club has a big name, but they have not been able to do anything in the last 2 decades. Advocaat said Feyenoord just haven't been able to reach up to the levels of PSV and Ajax. Since 2000 basically, Feyenoord had only won 1 title, which was in 2016-17 season. This was a club that needed saving. His time at Feyenoord has been nothing short of a success. In his first season, he guided the team to a UEFA Conference League final against Roma, which they did end up losing, but they finished 3rd in the league and it looked like they were improving. It was his style of play, his interviews, his man management skills which really impressed the fans and the board the most. After extending his contract, he did it. He won Feyenoord the Eredivisie, leading them to their 16th title and only their 2nd title in the last 20 years. He also led them to a quarter-final in the UEFA Europa League. It wouldn't surprise you to know that before Spurs signed Ange Postecoglou as their new manager, they were very interested in getting Arne Slot, but he rejected them and signed a new contract at Feyenoord. There's also been talks that Todd Boehly at Chelsea hired a private jet to get Arne Slot in at Chelsea, but he eventually signed Mauricio Pochettino instead. Slot led this Feyenoord team only 2 weeks ago to a Dutch Cup final and he won that Dutch Cup. This team is currently 2nd in the league, but the only reason they're 2nd is because PSV have been unbelievable this season. They've only lost 1 game all season, which is why this Feyenoord team are 2nd. And he's also done this with a team that has an average age of only 23.9. During his time at Feyenoord, he has been known to have an aggressive, dominant style of play, and he's always brought forward youth players into his main team, always improved them, and he's usually a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 formation, which is very similar to our outgoing legend Jurgen Klopp. Even out of possession, his teams press high with a lot of bravery, so his philosophy out of all the managers that we've been linked with is definitely the closest to Jurgen Klopp, and he made Feyenoord champions by playing some seriously good football that people in Holland likened him to someone like Pep Guardiola. You would also love to hear that Arne Slot is a big media guy. He's definitely known as one of the best managers when it comes to interacting with the media. He's always clear about his points, always honest, and he's never in a rush to speak. One famous interview which happened during the run-in in the Europa League was when he came up against Jose Mourinho, and he said he did not watch much of Mourinho's team's games, saying that he really liked watching Pep Guardiola compared to him. So he always had that little bit of beef about him. I've even seen videos of him fighting Diego Simeone. Now for the part that I know all of you guys have been waiting for. How does Arne Slot's Feyenoord team play and why is it so attractive to Liverpool? A high summary of how his team plays is, like I said, a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 formation. His 2 deeper midfielders operate closer to the centre backs to always allow great build-up play to break the opposition press. It's very similar to what De Zerbi has done at his time in Brighton, which allows the fullbacks to have freedom to attack. Slot usually gets his team to build up in a 3-3-2-3 formation, including the goalkeeper as a +1. The fullbacks like Gertruda invert into the middle because he likes to have the middle very compact, which is very similar to what Jurgen Klopp does at Liverpool. You would also see the central midfielders like Wiffa sometimes join the defense in the build-up play. This allows them to really create numerical advantages in the middle, which they can take advantage of. As well as this, if they were to lose the ball, they have enough people in the center that they know they can quickly win it back, which is something that Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp recently has definitely suffered a lot with. This also means that players are closer together, the passes are faster, and shorter distances are needed to give the pass. This makes it very difficult for any opposition team to really press Feyenoord. When the ball has progressed enough and they are now building up in a higher position, they almost go into a 2-3-5 formation. Slot has an interesting rule where he only allows one player on each side to be high and wide. For example, the left winger Pak Zhao would come inside and bring his fullback centrally. This creates a box midfield with two DMs in Wiffa and Zerouki, the attacking midfielder Timber, and winger Pak Zhao who's come inside. This opens up space for the left back Lopez to really push forward and attack that left flank. Whereas on the right hand side, the fullback strays back. He comes and inverts like Gertruda would hold back, and the winger Minte would keep himself out wide. One thing which Feyenoord do, which I wish Liverpool would do more, is create situations where they can really get a cutback inside the box, and they really look to find the edge of the box where a player is waiting to get the ball in. Defensively, his teams have a high backline. This allows them to keep the distances between the attackers and the defenders as tight as possible, so they can be very quick at counter pressing. Also, with so many overloads centrally, as we've explained, it allows Feyenoord to quickly win the ball back and recycle possession. They're always so aggressive off the ball, and at times his team will go man for man. High intensity pressing is another way of attacking, very similar to Jurgen Klopp's motto. It puts the opposition under pressure to give the ball away, which can lead to high turnovers to score. How would this actually work at Liverpool? Well, his 4-2-3-1 formation is definitely something which is very suitable to play with the players and squad at the club. Jurgen Klopp has even played some version of it previously this year with Wataru Endo and Alexis McAllister almost playing as a double pivot. Trent Alexander-Arnold would definitely benefit with the shorter spaces between the defenders and the better rest defense to win the ball back. The aggressive defending definitely suits Trent in trying to win the ball back, and he would play the inverted role really well. As well as this, Konate, Van Dijk and Kwanzaa are all suited to play as his centre back, as their progression of the ball isn't too dissimilar what they're doing right now. I believe we will definitely be signing a centre back in the summer, as we've already been linked to Frankfurt centre back William Pacho. We would also be looking at a new left back who's technically more proficient than Robertson, who's not as consistent as what he used to be, and I could see us signing a Kirkes or even an Eighth Nouri to be a backup to Robertson. Into the midfield, and one of those players is fixed. It has to be Alexis McAllister in that double pivot. He would be the one linking the play between the defense and the attack. However, unless Bacecic really impresses and shows signs of being a top DM, we might need to sign someone as a defensive midfielder. I love Wataru Endo, but for me, he's a squad player. He definitely has a lack of range in his passing, and that is something that is very crucial to a central defensive midfielder, in my opinion. The attacking midfield position is perfect at Liverpool. We have Ryan Gravenberch, Fabio Carvalho, Dominic Szoboszlai, Harvey Elliott. All of these players, even Cody Gakpo, can definitely shine in that role. Moving to the front three, which could be seeing a lot of change during the summer because we don't know yet what's going to happen. I wonder if Arne Slot is really confident in having Darwin Núñez as his striker. We've already seen reports about Darwin Núñez being a Jurgen Klopp signing and not transfer committee signing, but I've seen what Arne Slot's done with Jimenez at Feyenoord, teaching him how to make runs, and if he can do the same with Núñez and his finishing, then what do we know? Darwin Núñez could turn into a world-class striker by next season. If so, he would be the perfect man up front. Surprisingly, both Luis Diaz and definitely Cody Gakpo suit playing that left wing role, as they love coming inside and they've become much better playing as half space players than they are playing as out wide. Then we come to the big question mark. At right wing, will it be Salah or will it not be Salah? He is not 100% suited to doing that wide role anymore. He's more of an inside forward, but will Liverpool cash in on him in this summer, or will they keep him? Because if they cash in on him, that right wing role would be someone completely different. Currently, he would of course be the number one to play right wing, with Szoboszlai and Elliott as the backup. Obviously, it all sounds very promising right now, but as with any new manager, there will always be fares and disadvantages to a man. Arne Slot has been fantastic at Feyenoord, but he's following in the footsteps of a legend at the club. The expectations from the fans are higher, the pressure on the club is much higher, there's so much more spotlight. Just look at what happened to Arsenal after Wenger or Manchester United after Ferguson. The second question mark is whether he is a big enough personality to handle such a spotlight. At Feyenoord, he had the pressure of the local media. The players aren't too world class, they're youngsters, but at Liverpool you have world class players, you have all of the media watching, you have some serious pressure. So can he really make that jump from the Dutch league to the Premier League? We've seen what happened to Ten Hag. Overall though, the man wants the job and Liverpool want him. It's been a breath of fresh air seeing a manager openly come out, have the balls to manage the club after Jurgen Klopp's leaving. Liverpool have a huge summer ahead once they announce Arne Slot is going to be their new manager. Arne Slot is definitely a manager with a similar philosophy to Jurgen Klopp. He's able to coach a great defense as well as an attack and loves to work with academy players. This is crucial as Liverpool currently have a great crop of academy players players who have all shown that they have the talent to make it at the club. This is a manager with a big personality who is both vocal with his players and with the media. The hope is he can quickly adjust to the Premier League, and as much as the future may be uncertain, it's actually really exciting to see someone new come in and that there's going to be change happening. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of Arne Slot's move to Liverpool. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment down below your thoughts on him as the new manager, and subscribe for more. Peace.